What is going on, dreamers? Acert here. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to use this infinite runner template to create your own infinite runner. So this template that I'm playing right now, it's fully remixable, it's playable right now, and it is a great starting point. It's an excellent starting point for creating your own infinite runner. So as you can see, we have lives, we have score, we have a speed, there's moving, and there's infinite running. So without further ado, let me show you how to make your own infinite runner using this template. So starting from the home screen, we're going to go to options, we're going to go to dream shaping, browse and create, browse all, text search. And we're going to search Acert, A-E-C-E-R-T, runner. Then press enter. And we're going to see Santa Dash right off the bat. We're going to scroll past that. And we're going to go to infinite runner template. We're going to click this and we're going to remix this. We're going to remix this. And you're instantly greeted with all this logical goodness. Let me, right off the bat, we're going to show hide. We're going to press show hide. Thermometer, X-ray. You don't need the thermometer. X-ray. We're gonna turn on X-ray and we're gonna turn off preview invisibility. So, broad view, we have the logic kind of stuff. We have the platforms, 2 different sizes right now. And we have the obstacles, 3 different obstacles. So just to make sure you guys are aware, in this video I'm just going to be teaching like how to use this template. I'm not going to be going over like every little detail about how it works. Right here, this is going to be the text. This is going to be like speed, score, lives, and the numbers associated with it. If you want to change that, go right ahead. And yeah, change the font, change the color, change the position, delete it, do whatever you want. And then we have the game over screen. So this keyframe right here fades it in, right? So it starts at 0 opacity, so invisible basically. And as this keyframe powers up, it becomes more and more visible. And this keyframe only powers up when the game is over. So to actually edit these, what we can do is delete this wire and just turn it on. So now you'll see that it's 100 opacity. And we can actually like edit this. So you can edit the game over screen, you can make it say whatever you want. Yeah. But we're gonna put that back because we only want the game over screen showing when the game is ended. All right, let's keep going. So this logic chip right here, this is where we post the score. So this is where we like submit our high score basically. And also this is right here, this is the base score like giving, right? So how this works is when the game is not ended, it constantly adds 0.1 times the platform speed. So platform speed times 0.1 every frame. So right now the platform speed, it starts at 1, but it gradually increases. So if we start, see how every frame, this is how many points we're getting. So 4, 5, that's how many points we're getting every single frame. Okay? And you can see it working right here. So you see the platforms move and the player doesn't. But that's how it works. It's pretty cool. But anyway, let's keep going. So that was the oh, that's just like where the score is changed. So so I'm saying this though, I'm showing you this because if you want to change how you gain score, it's right here. It's right here. This is where the lives variable is also stored, but this isn't where it's changed. The lives variable is changed right here. Okay, so you can toggle so if you want to test stuff, you can make yourself invincible. So now you don't lose lives. But let's turn that off. So this is where we lose lives, and you could gain lives too. So you can make a power up that gives you lives. All you have to do is grab a variable modifier and power it on. But instead of -1, instead of adding -1, we add +1 or +22, plus whatever you want. But this is where we lose lives. So we lose lives when the player hitbox collides with something that is labeled as an object. So when it collides with something, when it senses rather, not collides, that's the wrong word, when it senses, when it detects something that is labeled as an object, you lose a life. Also, when the puppet falls out of the scene, you lose a life. And every time you do lose a life, the camera shakes. Now, I implore you to add a sound. So let's just do that. Let's do that. So let's get out of this. Oopsies. All right. Let's go to Dreamverse. Let's go to text search, and we're gonna search a hurting sound, like a sound that plays when the character gets hit. So let's search oof. My keyboard falls asleep, so sorry. Okay, this is awkward. And you're probably thinking, why don't you just type it in? So with the controller, but I will. But there's my keyboard. Alright. Oof, oof, oof. Oof the album. Interesting. Let's see. Alright, so we're just gonna grab this oof sound, and here it is. Not sure why the sound itself wasn't available, but so let's just test this. I think you do this. Perfect. So perfect. So we're gonna play once. We want to play this once every time it's powered on. So we're just gonna hook the detected to the sound's power, and now every time the player gets hit, that sound plays once all the way through. See? So I implore you to make it whatever sound you want. Okay. What else? So we'll look at this later. We'll look at this as the most interesting part. But let's go to this now. So this is where let's go to this first. Camera. So this camera is the game camera, and you can attach it to. Let's say we attach it to the player. So this microchip right here is attached to the player. So let's just put it on the player and see what happens. So now you follow the player. You can make the camera whatever you want. You can put it wherever you want. You can do whatever you want with the camera. But I like it here for this type of infinite runner. But you can do whatever you want. So initial platforms. What does this mean? Well, this number multiplied by 10 is how many starting platforms you have. So actually, we don't want them. We want the min to be 2, I think, because the min being 1 kind of breaks the game. So let's make the minimum 2. So it's going to spawn 2 starting platforms, and then it starts. Okay, I need to make myself invincible. Sorry. There we go. Okay, so it spawns 2 starting platforms, and then this is just how the game works. I'll explain it. Every time a platform gets destroyed here, another one spawns. So 2 is like the bare minimum, as you can see. It barely doesn't break the game, but it probably would. So I would highly recommend not doing 2. Let's try 5. 5 is still a little small, but as you can see, it spawns in 5, and then the game starts. So let's do max. There's no reason not to do max unless you don't want, the only reason why not to do this is because the beginning kind of takes a long time to quote unquote load. It kind of takes a long time. But if you do that, there's not going to be any pop in, right, of the platforms because it's so far away. And the thermo, which I did not turn on. Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad. Now, if it's very scenery intensive, if you add a lot of decorations to these platforms, it might be bad. So maybe consider doing it to 10 starting platforms. I like 10, by the way, because any less than 10 and it's kind of like you can see the pop in, and any more than 10 and the loading kind of gets a little too long. All right, so let's go on to max speed and speed increase interval. So max speed is, that's extremely self-explanatory. So if we set a max speed to 30, the speed, once it gets to 30, it will stop increasing. If you, and now, I don't really have to explain that anymore. Speed increase interval, though, it's a little more interesting. The higher the number, the slower the speed increases. cannot change this during the game, though. It breaks the game. You cannot change that during the game. So, so let's put it to 0.1. Now it increases very fast. And I'm just going to demo right now how fast 275 really is. Because you're like, oh, why can't you increase it over 275? Don't, because it breaks the game. It completely breaks the game. But we're closing on 275. I hope you realize just how fast this is. It's extremely fast. So any faster than that, and this system with the emitting platforms and stuff, it breaks. So don't do that. Don't go over 275. All these other numbers you can probably change, like to make it higher, but that specific one, do not go over 275. 27.5, 275. Yeah. All right. So let's keep going. Let's look at the gameplay. Let's look at the actual gameplay. So free move. When free move's on, and by the way, if you have lanes on, free move needs to be off. If you have free move on, lanes needs to be off. These two can't be on at the same time. I mean, they could be, but just don't. Okay, so with free move on, we can edit this, the max left and right speed. So this is one of the ones where we can like make it faster if we want. So like let's put the max speed to 110. Now you can move really, really, really fast. See? We can do it even faster if you want, but let's not. So let's go slower. Let's go slower. Let's go to like 7. Now it's gonna go really slow. Really, really slow. That's way too slow, but still, you're customizing it. And this can be changed in game. So maybe you can like have a debuff where if you're like standing on like a slime puddle or something, you move slower. The max, right? So you can change this in game if you want. Okay, now let's turn, but I think lanes is a little bit cooler. So let's turn on lanes. So if we have 3 lanes, look what happens. You're forced into these 3 spots. And the cool thing is you can change this. So let's do it to 5, let's do it to 6 lanes. Let's do it to 6 lanes. So now we have 6 separate lanes for our infinite rudder. It's important to note that the obstacles don't care about how many lanes you have. So you should build your obstacles with the amount of lanes in mind. With that said, you can change the amount of lanes while you're playing. So let's go 2 lanes. Let's see what happens with 2 lanes. You get 2 lanes. So that's very customizable. And dash speed is self-explanatory. Let's put the dash speed up extremely high. Now it's basically teleporting. Let's lower it though. Let's lower it, see what happens. And it's pretty slow now. It's pretty slow. So that is like the gameplay kind of thing. That is the gameplay. Now let's get into more complicated stuff. Before I tell you how to put a custom character in, and I'll get to that by the way, don't worry. So I'll teach you how to add a custom character, and I'll teach you how to add custom obstacles. But first, one more thing, the jumping, character jumping, it's literally just you scope into the character and you can change how high you jump, you can change min jump height. So let's jump really, really high. Let's jump really, really high. And now we're jumping very high. So the jumping is based on your character. Okay, so once you've got a jump that you like, we are going to edit something else now. Let's look at creating a new obstacle. So these obstacles are default. I really hope you don't use them. They're ugly and horrible. So let's say you make a spike obstacle, or let's just find a spike obstacle. So I think typing the word obstacle in isn't really what I want, but let's just try. Oh wow, literally nothing. Okay, let's try spike. Trap kit. Here we go. Perfect. Matt136MM. Shout out. Although that might be media molecule. So interesting. Anyway, spinning spike trap. Let's grab a spinning spike trap. Spinning spike trap. All right, so we have a spinning spike trap, and what happens when we play? It spins. Yeah, look at that. Okay, so we're going to just, so this is how we make a new obstacle, guys. We're gonna copy and paste this. We're gonna grab this and we're gonna scope in. So while holding, while dragging with R2, we're gonna press L1 and then we're gonna press X, and we're scoped into it now. Now we want to delete the current obstacle, and we're gonna place this wherever we want. And actually, let me. Oh, everything's. Why can't I see anything? It's very hard to see things because they're powered off. So let's just power this on. So how? So you're probably like, well, how do I know where it's gonna spawn? Well, let's grab this and I'll show you. So the obstacle is gonna spawn right on this microchip and right on this microchip. So let's line it up. It's gonna be right about there. It's not gonna be exact. If you want it, oops. If you want it exact, you can actually you can see where it's teleporting. So this is where it's teleporting. Or this is like the origin of the teleportation, and this is where it's teleporting to platform. So if you want it to be like exact, you can just line it up like this. But make sure this is the grid, by the way. There. So now it's exact. So make sure you align the grid to this one, specifically this one. So this is exactly where it's going to be. And now we can edit the spike trap. So let's scope in again. The first thing, the really important thing, is we're gonna make this an object. It's very important. That's like the most important thing. This needs to be an object. Okay. Now that it's an object, we can do some other stuff. Let's scope into it one more time. I think, yeah. We're gonna select all. We really do not want this to be collidable, guys. We do not want this to be collidable. It'll move the player. It'll screw you. You can make it collidable, guys. You can if you want, but I would highly recommend not making it collidable. Okay, so we have this trap, and let's place some more. Let's just we can do whatever we want, by the way. So, for example, we have this. We have this. Put one here. And I am lining it up for this long platform, and I'll show you why I'm doing that. Because you're like, well, wait, what if this obstacle spawns on this smaller platform? Well, I will make it so it doesn't. All right, so we have this, right? And actually, before we place all these, let's make it so let's make there be like a chance that this actually spawns in. So let's place too many and then delete some of them. Hopefully that makes sense. So we're gonna just grab a randomizer. Let's make it be a 1 in 4 chance. 1 in 4 chance. So when the randomizer is on, it automatically just chooses something. You don't have to put an output. You don't have to put a randomized input. So let's grab a destroyer. And it'll only place if D gets selected. It'll only place if D gets selected. Otherwise, it just destroys itself. So let's place a bunch of these. Because again, there's only a 1 in 4 chance of them spawning in. Right? And that might be too small, but you can always change it. And I'm not really trying to make this too interesting. I don't know. Again, guys, do whatever you want. So I'm just showing you that you literally can do whatever you want. So let's scope out, and now we've got this amazing little obstacle that's really laggy apparently. How much thermo does this cost? Yeah, 7%. All right, so maybe this is a little too much, but but they'll delete themselves, so it's not that big of a deal. Just be careful, because there's going to be a lot of platforms spawning, so try not to go too crazy on the the gameplay thermo. But anyway, now that we have our obstacle, let's make sure this is. Oh, it'll be powered off. Don't worry. Now that we've made our new obstacle, our new custom obstacle, we need to do two things, or just one thing in our case. So if you want the obstacle to spawn, sorry, moving those with the grid on is really annoying. So if we want the obstacle to spawn on both, we have to go into this microchip and this microchip and just add an emitter and and hook that emitter up to the obstacle. But since we only want it to spawn on this one, we're just going to ignore this one. So we're going to grab an emitter. Okay. And we're going to scope into the emitter. Delete the one delete the thing that it's currently emitting, and just click on our new obstacle. Okay, and now we're not done yet though. We have to line it up. So we want it so that it emits with this cube as close to this as possible. Don't worry, it'll teleport into place, but we just want it. We want to get it as close as possible. So that's good enough. That's good enough. And finally, we want to hook this randomizer to the power of this emitter. And we're done. So now if we play it, eventually, yep, there you go. You get our new obstacle. Actually, 2 of them in a row, it looks like. So, yep, there it is again. 2 in a row. Interesting. Wow. Let's try to get just one by itself, because... Yep, see, there it is. Okay. It's going really fast, though. So maybe we should increase this a little bit. But, so as you see, I just added the new obstacle, and let's actually see, like, what it looks like. Am I invincible? Yes, I am invincible. So let's not be invincible right now. So let's test our new obstacle, see if it's working. Oh, the lane's 2. Let's make it free move. Just there we go. Yeah. Oh, there it is. So there you go. So you get hit by it, you lose a life. And notice how all the spikes weren't spawned in because there's only a 1 in 4 chance. Oh, I just went through that spike. So the reason I just went through that is because the spike is too high. But that's just my fault. Don't worry about that. You gotta just, yeah. So actually, is this a... Okay, make sure you make the whole thing an obstacle as well. Or actually don't. No, don't do that. Never mind. Don't make the whole thing an obstacle because then this little cube will also be an obstacle. You definitely want to scope in and then make all of these an object. I said obstacle, I meant object. But they already are. So again, the reason that the reason the player didn't collide with that, even though he probably should have, is because, well, let's go to the hitbox. Did we already look at that? I think we already, no. Did we? I'm pretty sure we did. So player, yeah, we did. Player hitbox. If you want to change the player hitbox, well, go for it. I would recommend making it the size of your player, so the people playing your game don't get really angry when they hit something and they think they shouldn't have. But that's just me. Okay, so we've just added our own custom obstacle, and again, guys, you can do pretty much anything with this. You can do pretty much anything with this. Do these things spin? Oops. Oh, he just deleted this up. Let's see if the spinning of the spikes actually works. Oh my god, I didn't make myself invincible. Sorry. All right, there we go. There. Okay, let's see if they actually spin. It's hard to tell. So they don't spin. So it's tough because they're supposed to spin, right? Because that's like what this thing does. Yeah, see this advanced rotator, but that it's not gonna work because of what I did, I think. If you want it to spin, you're gonna need to use connectors, I believe. But you can mess around with that. It's tough to have the obstacles move, but you should be able to. So that's how you make a custom obstacle. Let me show you how to add. So now we're getting a little more advanced. Let me show you how to add, well, soon. We'll get more advanced soon. Let me show you how to add your own character, though. Let me show you how to add your own character. So we're going to go to search again, and we're just going to search for a character. So let's get out of that. Let's categories, right? And let's go to character. And let's see what comes up. Oh, I'm in collections. I just want to do all, right? Sackboy. I think it would be fun to do a Sackboy. Alley. Yeah, a lot of popular stuff. Let's just do Sackboy. Screw it. Because Sackboy is like a... Where is Sackboy right now? What the hell? let's turn the grid off before doing this. Oh, there he is. I don't know why that happens, but whatever. And I lost him. This is really annoying. Okay, there he is. There he is. So we've just placed him down. So we're gonna delete all this extra shit that comes with it. I don't even know. Is this like decorations or something? All right, we're gonna delete all this. We're gonna delete all this. Camera pointer. Okay, so here's Sackboy. I guess you can see the base puppet on him, but the puppet's probably invisible. So when we preview invisibility, yeah, that goes away. Okay, cool. So here's Sackboy. Here's Sackboy. And we want Sackboy to be our new character, right? So let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens when we... Well, make sure to delete this. Make sure it's really important that you delete this, like extremely important. So delete this. Drag this over. Delete this. And let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. All right, and it almost works perfectly. It almost works perfectly. Actually, wait, does it work? No, I don't think this is gonna work. Oh no, it does. It does. Okay, just make sure. I'm pretty sure this needs to be a friend. So I don't know why that's group. All right, make sure this is a friend, because I think I have it so that this only collides with friends or something like that, or collides with everything but scenery. Yeah, that's important. Okay. And that's actually another point. So your game might be pretty glitchy. Just make sure it doesn't collide with scenery. But it's not that big of a deal because we didn't make this collidable. But it's just another thing. Actually, don't even worry about that. But so yeah, you literally can just drag and drop this microchip onto the new character, and it just starts working. From what I can tell. Okay, this is move, right? Let's try lanes. Let's try lanes. Or I said move, I meant free move. So let's try lanes. So let's put it to 3 lanes and see how this works. Yeah, it works perfectly. Let's make the dash speed up a little though. I put it really low. All right, there you go. So now we have our own custom character. See? The jump is really low, but you can change that. So there's a custom character. And one more thing though, I would recommend changing. We need to go here, I think. Here, it's in here. The custom hitbox. So I would recommend changing the hitbox to actually like be the same size as it. But you can do whatever you want with the hitbox. Okay, there we go. So we just added our own custom character. Oh, okay, there's one more thing. There is one more thing. So you'll notice how when I was dashing back and forth, he's like moving up, kind of. So the reason it was doing that is because... So there's one more thing with custom characters that you need to be careful of. And it's the actual hitbox. So not the custom hitbox. Which is right here. Not the custom hitbox. The actual hitbox. Make sure it is greater than the size of the actual character. It is extremely important because the person who made this, I didn't check this, but he must have made like something on him collidable or something. Jesus Christ, how many? If I was to guess, no, it's not. Well, something was screwing this up, but once I made the hitbox greater than the size of the actual puppet, as you can see, it stopped freaking out. Because it was colliding with the back wall. It was colliding with this back wall, and that's for some reason that's what was causing it. So just again make sure the character's hitbox is greater than the actual character. Okay, awesome. So we've added our own character in. We've created our own obstacles. There's one more thing. And this is pretty difficult, but it is creating your own sized platform. One more thing. Yeah. Oh, I think we already went over this, but so this is where we've already went over this. This is where you spawn in obstacles, right? So if you don't like an obstacle or if you want to change an obstacle, this is where the emitters are for that. But yeah, I've already shown you that. So one more thing is creating a different sized platform. Now this is annoying, but it's the only thing that's actually like annoying in this entire kit, but I will teach you how to do it. So first, we're going to turn the grid on. We're going to align the grid to this piece right here. And we're going to copy and paste this piece, okay? So we're going to copy and paste it. Now line it up with this one. You don't have to, but... And now, what are we going to do? What kind of piece are we going to do? Let's make one that's 3 seconds long. And you don't have to do it like this, but I'm going to do it like this. So you can make it any size. Actually, I wouldn't go smaller than this. I would really not go smaller than this, but you can make it any size bigger. So we're going to make it bigger. And we're going to keep this microchip, and we're going to keep this microchip, and we're going to delete all the other ones. Okay. Now we're going to just do this, and it's movable. That's fine. That's fine. We want to group it together. Now that it's a group, it's one thing basically. And we want to recolor it because right now we can't tell the difference. Let's make it dark gray. Okay. So it's recolored. Now we want to make sure this microchip is on the entire object. Right now it's only on this one, so we want to grab it. We really want it to be in the same spot though. So grab it. Actually, before we do this, let's turn the grid up. So now we grab it, scope out, place it. Okay, same thing over here. We're going to grab it, scope out, place it. So now those two microchips are on the entire thing. Oh, one more thing. We want to power these things on. Because they were powered off because it's being emitted, and the emitters, when you hook an object to an emitter, it automatically powers it off. So we're going to want to copy, paste it, which we already did, and then turn it back on. So we have this now, right? Perfect. Now we're just going to make sure. I think this is fine. Are these emitters? Yeah, the emitters are fine. The emitters will be fine. Actually, everything in this side will be fine. It's this side that gets messed up. So with this side, the teleporter gets reset. We want the teleporter to look like this. The teleporter gizmo, rather, to look like this, right there. But it gets reset because we moved the microchip. So all you do is take this, align it, so it's aligned. And we want to now scope in here. And the teleporter, so this is how we want it lined up, right? So the teleporter is teleporting to this tag. It'll be teleporting to a tag like this. Okay, this is so annoying. Holy shit. All right. So we click on this tag and we make the gizmo show up. And now we want to drag the teleporter gizmo so it's perfectly aligned with the tag gizmo. Like that. Okay? So that's the first thing. So now it's going to teleport into place properly. But there's one, and we can delete that because I copy and pasted it, but there's one more thing we need to do. Two more things, I guess. So let's do this one first, the spawn platforms. We want to add this platform to the pool of platforms that can spawn, all right? So, we're going to, actually, since it's like, sorry. So we're gonna copy and paste an emitter. Let's turn this grid off for now. We're gonna copy and paste an emitter. We're gonna scope into the emitter and press triangle on this to delete the object. And then the new object is gonna be this one. And let's, for this specific emitter, okay, so for the emitter in spawn platforms, for this one, it doesn't matter where it is because it teleports into place, remember. So we're just going to move it over to the right. Just make sure it's moved over to the right, okay? Make sure that this gadget right here is to the right of this cube. And it is. Perfect. And now let's just hook up the power of this to this randomizer. Like that. All right, but we're not done yet. So one more thing we need to do. We need to do the, and you don't actually have to do this, but if you want the initial platforms to contain this new platform, you do have to do this. So let's turn the grid back on. Let's make sure the grid is aligned here. And we're going to scope into this one. All right, so we're gonna, this was already open, yeah. We're gonna scope into this one, spawn initial platforms, and then go into here. And this is where the emitters are. For the initial platforms. So we're going to copy and paste this emitter, scope in, press triangle, do the same thing, select this object. Now this is really, really important, guys. So with this one on, we're also going to scope into this one. Or actually, no, this one. Okay, it doesn't matter, but now we want to align our new one, right? We want to align our new one up with, it's just easier if we do this one, with this one. So we want to align the left edge of our new one with the left edge of the current one. Like that. Perfect. So see how they're both overlapping? See? That's because the grid is on. I align the grid here. So it's really important that you do that. So now the initial platforms will spawn in. The reason you have to do that is because when you're spawning initial platforms, the platforms don't actually teleport. But yeah, so, and now you just hook up the randomizer to this power, and you also want to do object just emitted to this teleporter. Okay, so I know it was kind of annoying to do, but that's how you make a different sized platform. So now if we play, see, there's our gray one. And it doesn't work because we forgot something. There's one more thing we need to do, one more thing, and that is scope into here. No, not like that. Scope into this microchip, delete this wire, okay? And now we're gonna wanna click this, and we're gonna wanna scope into this big object, this whole thing, and we're gonna hook it to movable. So now, when the game ends, this will stop moving. But when the game isn't ended, it'll move. So now it still doesn't work because you also need to scope in and make every one of the mini objects. If you did it this way, you could have just made one large one, but if you did it this way, all of the ones in the group need to be not movable, okay? They have to be not movable. But the entire group, you put that not gate into movable. Okay, so with that, you'll see that the gray ones move with everything else. So we've just added another platform. Platform size. Great, and that's pretty much all you need to know. You can get really creative with the different types of obstacles. In fact, you can put decorations in the obstacles. Just make sure that what you want the player to die from, what you want the player to lose lives from, is labeled as an object. And I would highly recommend making it non-collidable, but you can make it collidable if you want. And you can also decorate these platforms. So how about we decorate this platform? So we're going to scope in, and let's add some strokes. So you can tell I'm like an art master because of just how good I am at adding strokes. Look at this. All right, that is really well decorated. Okay, really well decorated. So, and let's add an object too, just to show you that you can. So, oh yeah. All right, there we go. Perfect. Really nice decorations right there. And now if we play, if we start the time, it starts falling. Now, that's important. The reason it started falling was because this object I added has weight. So it's important if you're adding objects, it's really important to make it non-collidable. This is scenery. Take off all the density. Take off all the density. Now it still falls. Really easy fix. Including taking off all the density, you just need to, so make sure density is 0, right? You need to put ignore gravity on. So if ignore gravity's off, it falls because it has gravity. Scope in. If ignore gravity is on, no more falling. And everything moves as it should. So now you have those wonderful decorations attached to the platforms. Obviously, please actually decorate it. Don't be a troll like me. But that's just showing you that you can add decorations like that. Or you could add the decorations in the obstacles. Although I wouldn't, now that I think about it, I wouldn't add decorations to the obstacles because there's different size platforms. Now, if you want custom obstacles for every size platform, which is completely viable, and in fact, I would recommend that, then it does make sense to add decorations like that. But anyway, you can add decorations here, you can add decorations here. Doesn't matter. But this should be it. That's pretty much all you need to know. If you have any other questions, please let me know. So if you're editing obstacles, it's kind of hard to break it. But if you're editing this, if you're changing these, it's pretty easy to like break this template. So just be careful with changing platform sizes. But if you just follow exactly what I said, then you should be good. So I'm really glad to be. I'm really happy I'm able to make these templates for the community because I understand like how helpful these are. So if you guys have any other template recommendations, or I guess tutorial recommendations, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to help you out. I'd love to make them. Because again, like I know how helpful these things are. Also, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to catch me while I'm streaming. And I will just answer whatever questions you have. So definitely check out my Twitch channel. I'm making a really cool dungeon RPG type game. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in watching me make that, definitely check that out. But that is it for me, guys. This is the Infinite Runner template. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I really hope you were able to make your own Infinite Runner. And I will see you guys later.